G'day Raw fans, Richard Raw here for Richard Raw Banta TV. Well, we have made the jump, yes, we have made the jump from the iPhone 6 to professional production crew, and today we are launching our pilot program, all to do with the Brisbane Raw Academy and the Brisbane Raw NPL team for this season. And my very special guest, yes, the very special guest, a former Raw player for the Brisbane Raw back in 08-09 season, a man who heads up our academy teams and especially our Queensland NPL team, Mr. Chris Grossman. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Rich. I'm very good.
Mates, thank you so much for coming down to the Raw room today. As you can see, full of orange. And in fact, I don't know if we can sneak up there, but in the corner over here, hiding behind one of those hats, in the squad of 08-09, Chris Grossman was a part of that team. And mate, there's some big names up there on that board. In the corner there?
Yeah, mate, there is. It brings back some great memories, I think, having a look up there. Yeah, we had some great players come through the club, and it's great to see what you've got here, and there's plenty of memories in all of it. So
yeah, it's great. As a former player of the Brisbane Raw, now made the step, you've been with the club for a long time now. My understanding is you head up the Queensland NPL Raw youth team. You're a part of the academy setup. Mate, can you tell us a little bit about what goes on in the academy and what your role is?
Yeah, it's been an exciting 5 years. We've come a long way, I feel. My role effectively is to develop players to play A-League football. I think we've been quite good at that in the time the academy's been here, which has been 6 years. So I want to continue that trend in developing and giving opportunities for young Queenslanders to play professional football. I think that has to be our job. That has to be our end outcome. And underneath that, it's making sure how do we have everything in place for young players to come up and be ready for that opportunity. I think there's so many elements to that. It's not just what you see on the football pitch. It's how they eat and how they prepare and how they're able to finish school, how they're able to put another football program, which is school football, into their life and still be fit and healthy to play for us. So there's a lot of arms of what it takes to get the boys ready, but we're continuing to learn every year and develop the program every year to deliver a better product to our players and hopefully give them the best opportunity to play professional football for Brisbane Roar. Yeah,
the academy obviously starts, I think, under 13s. Yeah. It goes right through to 23s and obviously at NPL side. You play a massive role in developing that level just under the A-League. And obviously Coach Warren Moon, he looks to you for advice of players that you have at that lower level, 23s NPL side. This season, talking about last season actually, we were talking about last season, finished fourth, I think. I think you finished fourth, knocked out in the major semi, unfortunately. This season's a whole new season for you. There's at least 10 players who have departed and big name players in our club who were on that probably edge of making the A-League or looking to progress somewhere within the football community or other careers. People like Eli Adams off to Europe, the Harry Talbots off the Central Coast. We can list a whole name of different players. Your team is probably not depleted in numbers, but depleted in that strength. Who are some of the players that you're looking to bring into this season to bolster your team? Because this season's NPL looks at being a pretty big deal this season.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a tough league. I think this year we've got every team this year is recruited well. I think every team this year understands two teams are going to go down. So they have to be on their game every week. Every point counts. Last year I'm extremely proud of the group and what we were able to achieve. I think this year we'll have opportunities for younger players that aren't street-hold names to come through and show what they can do. I think you look back at it 2 or 3 years ago and the Brandon McMurrows and the Josh Morlands, those boys weren't household names, and all of a sudden, this year we're probably going to be expecting Josh, Brandon McMurrow, Sam Klein, Dom Hallwood, Trent Millard, Reece Gray to now be doing a lot of heavy lifting and help these young boys through. But we've got some really good young boys coming through the academy, not just in our senior side, but we've got sort of some within the 18s and 16s that will make that jump quite quickly. So it's an exciting time to be heading the academy and seeing those boys come through and providing them opportunities. But I suppose part of my philosophy has been and will always be that I'll only provide those opportunities when the boys deserve it. So we want to keep looking within our program first and foremost, but I'm not blinded to what talent there is outside of our program. We've recruited only 2 players from outside our program this year, and the reason for that is we believe we've recruited quite well. But we do understand that there are players that develop outside of our program and deserve to be rewarded, which to have this year. So it'll be fantastic working with the younger group this year. It'll be a big test for me as a coach and Owen to continue to develop these young players, and we're excited for this season. It's nice when people continue to rule you out as they did last year, and you continue to do good things. So we'll be looking to do the same again this year.
Obviously, this season, like you said, you've brought in a number of new players. I think you've only brought in, like you said, 1 or 2. A new keeper, Mills, from Melbourne City. Is it Jacob from Capalaba?
Yeah, Jacob Mudnich, who
from
was in our season previous, and Jake Ellenberger from
Ellenberger. Is he from Sydney?
No, he's a Sunshine Coast boy, moved to Moreton Bay, who produced a lot of good front third players. Zach Kierpol, Jake, Runda Royce, they're producing a lot of good front third players. So it's great to have him on board this year. Jakob coming back in is fantastic. He was excellent for us on the weekend at Lions. So it'll be good to see those boys and how they develop, because it was only 12 months ago we brought in a Lewis Sabala who no one knew anything about, and look where he's gone this year. So I'm excited to see what Jakob can do this year. I'm excited, with Jake, and not just Jake, but we've got Lockie Johnson and Luke Broderick, who are 2 young, exciting attacking prospects for us this year, which, Cyrus Demi last year came in and had a really good year. So I don't want to put any pressure on them, but there's an expectation that they will develop, and I'm hoping they develop into the players that we see them being. So,
just talking about the players, obviously we talked about the players coming, the players going. Number of your players who are left have infiltrated other teams with the NPL. The Ramazanis, Jackson Hart-Phillips, Riley Jackson, Nathan Foster. The list can go on, different players that you'll be up against this season. In fact, pre-season, you've already played against a number of them. I thought your team was quite adequate against those players, against those things, handled themselves well. Obviously, there were 1 or 2 games I've seen in pre-season where you maybe were muscled off the ball, but I think that comes back to experience and the younger squad, because your squad this season is younger. And the predictions I've seen is not mainly at the top of the league, but with that midway. How are you going to develop those young boys? Because the obviously physicality of playing grown men in a league that really, to me at the moment, that the NPL is not far from the ALeague. In my own personal perspective, when it comes to players, there's some great players in the Queensland NPL, and I think your players, how would you develop those young players, and how would you get them to that next level?
It's everyone thinks coaching's just turn up on Saturday and put the tactics out there and there you go. But there's a lot of thought process that goes behind it. I think recruitment of Owen last year, but into our program has definitely helped. We've challenged each other to find solutions to how do we get those boys to that level quicker. We'll look at doing midweek games this year against FQPL teams because they have the bye to try and give those boys exposure to regular minutes against men. We've already done that in pre-season against Surface. We've done that against Musgrave in pre-season. So the boys now are playing games against men, which physically is really testing them and putting them in a position where they either have to step up or they step out, unfortunately. So it gives us an opportunity to see which boys are accepting that challenge and which boys aren't. So that's been a massive positive, and we'll continue to work with that. But at the end of the day, you need to throw the boys in there. For us, it's I like to be result driven, but at the same time, results are 2 things for me. They're results on scoreboards and ladders, but they're also results in what players you deliver and you move forward to the first team. So I have no doubt that this year we'll have some very, very good moments, and we'll have some moments which are tough, but these young boys only learn by making mistakes, and you're hopeful that within consistency and performances they won't make too many of the same mistakes twice. So it's an exciting year. I'm looking forward to how we go. Yes, a lot of our players have left last year, I think, for all different reasons, as we spoke before. players have left, but when you look at what we've done differently from previous years to this year, I think, Eli going to Europe, that's a big positive for the club and for football in Queensland. Harry Talbot going to Central Coast, I think, shows that we develop a lot of good footballers, but we just don't have the avenues in Australian football to provide those opportunities for young players to express themselves and be shown. So it's something that, as a bigger picture, we need to work on, but I'm proud we can offer opportunities to Queensland footballers, because like Warren, I believe that we've got some very good footballers coming through and within our program, and unfortunately we don't have enough spaces within our club to provide everyone opportunities. So I'm hopeful we can continue to build on that and have a good year this year.
Definitely. Talking about that progression thing, obviously some great names have progressed. The Lewis Sabalas, the Cyrus Demis, Eli Adams even had a go. Sam Climb, only a little while ago, had 10 minutes. Young kids like that. That progression, and obviously then open spaces down the thing. Will we see the Cyruses and the Lewises come back and play NPL, or do you think they've made that projection now? Because I'm seeing Lewis and those guys now getting regular minutes every week in the A-League team. Do you think we'll see those guys back in the NPL?
It's hard to say. It's possible. I would like to think at some stage we do for their development. I think, Warren and I like to, we're on similar wavelengths within that. I think for a player to develop, and this is my philosophy through the whole academy, is that for players to develop, they need to play football. Yeah. We could bring another 20 or 30 players into our academy and have them as part of the Brisbane Roar, but if they're not playing football and not playing regular minutes, they're not going to develop. So I would rather see a player at another NPL club and probably score 3 or 4 goals against me, but play every week, than be in our academy and play 15 minutes and deteriorate as a player. So within Cyrus and Louis, I hope they continue to develop within the A-League team. If at the end of the season they still need minutes and they still need opportunity to play, we're always here for them. But I hope we don't see them back, because I hope their trend is continuing to move forward, and 2 players within the academy look at that opportunity and go, okay, well, I need to make the most of that opportunity because these boys aren't back. So it depends which way you look at it. At the end of the day, results driven, yes, but bigger picture wise, I think they're doing extremely well where they are at the moment with Warren.
Well, Raw fans, this whole program will not be possible without some of our partners, and some of our partners have got a message for you right now, and we want to thank all those businesses who are supporting us and supporting the Raw fan experience for a Richard Raw banner. Here they are.
Here at Mr. Barista Coffee, we cater for all your events, from open homes, work functions, corporate events, sports events, private parties, and much more. Call Roy on 0410 697 112 for your next event, because he knows coffee. Or find us on email, mrbaristacoffee70@hotmail.com, or Facebook or Instagram Mr. Barista Coffee. Profect Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning is an affordable and professional carpet and upholstery cleaning service operating in the Moreton Bay area and surrounds. A small family-owned business with a unique range of services that will leave your home or your business clean, healthy and beautifully presented. So if you're moving out, moving in, getting ready to sell, getting ready for an inspection, or just want that regular clean and freshen up, get in contact with us to see how we can help you. You can find us online at www.profectcleaning.com.au, Google and Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. Great, like you said, great relationship with Warren, and obviously that springboard backward and forwards. Warren obviously be tapping on the shoulder saying, who's the next? I want to move the questions now to the NPL. It starts this Saturday. The Rain Gods, round 1 against Gold Coast United down at the Coplick Family Park down the Gold Coast. It's your round 1 game. Probably a good game to start with. Not taking on the Olympics and the Lions straight off the bat, but down at the Gold Coast United. A very physical and strong team again as well. Shane Smeltz and a few other players that played within that team and that club. Great club, great family organisation. This season you play Brisbane City, who have come back into the NPL. I want to steer the story now and the conversation more towards the other teams. Round 1, you're up against Gold Coast United. What are your thoughts about going into that game and some of the big threats from the Gold Coast United team?
Yeah, it's an extremely tough battle round one. I think every game you step into round one this season, last season, whenever it might be, is always the unknown. Yeah. We played Gold Coast United around first game of pre-season, and it was tough. We ended up getting up 1-0, but they had a few players to still come back in, and they still looked a little bit underdone. So I dare say round one they're going to be prepared for what we have. But they're experienced. They know how to win. They know how to play. Gray's, got them there with Dave at the moment, and they're progressing well. So I tip him to be a big improver this year. I mean, last year I did, and you speak to Gray, and I'm sure he'll say that he's disappointed with the way their season went last year for whatever reasons. But this year, I have no doubt they'll be prepared and be ready, because they want to push for that number one team on the Gold Coast. So looking at our game round one, they'll look at that and go, oh, this is a good way to start off. But obviously we're going to go there and want to get 3 points on the board, and it's not going to be an easy game. As you said before, it'll be physical, it'll be quite direct at times, and we'll need to be on our game for 90 minutes to get the points.
Definitely. Moving into round two, a home game. Now, the last few seasons of Raw have not really had a home game since they left the Logan facilities, and it's always been that question mark on the Brisbane Raw: where does the youth team play? Thank goodness Rochdale Rovers, I believe, have come to the partnership. So round two, you're up against Olympic, Keegan Jalesic, former Raw player, a whole raft of ex-Raw players play for Olympic. My pick this season, and I'm not saying the Raw are not going to win, because I always go for the Raw, but my pick would be Olympic, making that top level again. Let's talk about the home game advantage. We are playing out of Underwood Park, Rochdale Rovers. What's the relationship with Rochdale Rovers, and how did that come to be?
Yeah, it's been one we're extremely grateful for. I think I work with Scott McNichol for Churchy in school football, so there was that natural relationship there. But obviously Warren knows Scott quite well as well, so we spoke about it. They've been extremely accommodating in allowing us to use that as a home venue this year. So I mean, it's great for our senior program to have somewhere which they can call home, not just a home, but a home which is definitely moving in the right direction. They've had a lot of government funding to get their grandstands. Their pitch is tremendous. They've got recovery facilities there. They've got meeting rooms. So the facility as a whole is something which I think is something that we need to push for more in Queensland. So to be playing out of this year is great for us. I think our younger boys will get a sense of home feel. And hopefully that relates to football performances on the pitch. I think Olympic obviously knocked us out last year, so that's something that's going to sit deep and burn deep. But at the same time, it's a new game, it's a new year. They've recruited well. Keegan's gone there, and obviously will improve them. Zach Kearpol's there, which will improve them. So there's some big names in their squad. They'll be expected to do well, but we'll be looking to do whatever we can to frustrate them and make their job as tough as possible. I mean, at the end of the day, it's our home game, so we're going to serve it up to them and see what they can provide on the other end. So we're looking forward to that first game at home, and hopefully the weather starts to die down and we can get some football played this season. So that'll be nice.
Definitely. The home and away thing for me is very exciting. Having a place where Raw fans can come and say it's the home ground for the Brisbane Raw youth team. Looking at all the other teams, let's talk about not predictions, but some of the big threats now. Like I said, Brisbane City have come back in. Matt Smith, coach play. Probably more coaching than probably playing this season, I've heard. Jackson Simpkins has gone there from your squad. Daniel Bowles and a few other Brisbane Roar players are playing out of that team. Who are some of the clubs you think this season have not only recruited well, but maybe are that top four that you will have to work harder with your boys to get the win?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stories behind every team this year. I think you look at Lions, and for me, they've recruited extremely well. Like, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn by saying that they were disappointing last year. I mean, yes, they won the league, but they would have liked to have finished on top at the end of the regular season. So I'm sure Darren and Rob and the team there will, and they have recruited extremely well this year to make sure this year they set the benchmark again, which I think they'll be quite close to doing. They've recruited well. I think Ben and Olympic, they've recruited well as well in areas which were tough for them last year. I think Brisbane City coming up have really set the bar high and put a statement there. I think there's no team in the league this year I can put a finger on and say, okay, well, you haven't tried to improve on last year. I think it'll be up to the players this year to go, okay, well, this is what I can do. Logan have recruited extremely well and been aggressive in that market. East obviously have done the same thing. So there's going to be no easy games this year. I think the season is not going to be as stretched as what it was last season. I think there's going to be some really tight games, some good games of football, and that home ground advantage I think this year will really be crucial to where teams end up fitting. So I think I can't. Gold Coast Knights are another one. They've got another story behind that, but they're one that probably had a disappointing year last year that will want to step up again this year. So every team, I think, has got its own individual story as to how they wanted to improve last year. And I think they've shown signs of the off-season about how they're going to do that. So for us, we're no different. We want to make sure that we continue to improve, and we're going to be out there looking to put our best foot forward for 27 games next year.
I'm excited at the fact that I think Brisbane Roar have now really earned that respect within the NPL. They're just not the pushover team of years gone past. Young kids coming in, play a bit of football, and then obviously it's like a training game for the Roar or a training game for the other team. The respect factor, I don't think any club would dismiss the Raw NPL team, as young as they are. Young players as 15, 16, 17-year-olds playing against grown men. I even love it when we go to different clubs and watch, the banter amongst the fans, etc. My leading question now is, how can Raw fans, as us, the Raw fans, because I'm all about the Raw fan experience, Richard Raw Banner is about the Raw fan experience. Over this last season, I've seen a little group of us get together at NPL games and stir the pot and have a bit of banter with the opposition fans. How can Raw fans get involved now, especially we have Rochdale Rovers as their home ground?
Yeah, Richard was fantastic last year. I think the boys very much appreciated having the support we did. I think I still remember the scene down at Capalaba when Cyrus scored in his hat-trick. The scenes on the sideline were amazing. I think we need to continually look to build on that. I think Rochdale being a home ground now, it's got the facilities there which can facilitate additional support, and I think being the next group of young players coming through, I think that's probably part of their learning experience as well. Because you don't want to go from a couple of hundred fans in NPL to a couple of thousand in ALeague, and it's like a rabbit in the headlights situation. So I encourage people to come out and have a look. Like, you look at some of the young players that have come through now, have come through the NPL, and Warren's there endorsing the young players we've got here. I'm telling you, there's good players in the NPL that aren't specifically within our system that deserve to be watched more. And the league is good. The league is improving. I think as a whole, we want to make sure that we continue to improve the product that we're selling, so more people can come and watch. It's been tough from when I played up there on the wall in 2008. You look at 11, 12, 15,000 people at games. It's hard to watch, but I think we need to continue to work hard on developing and producing that product on the pitch, whether it's NPL or A-League, and I think people will come and watch good football. So that's what we're committed to this year, and I hope as many Brisbane Roar fans can come out and watch and support the boys as much and as often as possible.
Definitely share that to the guys from the Den, Jason and his crew that come out and been supporting. It's good to have 10 or 15 of us there. I'd love to see it grow. And in fact, through the social media that I'm involved with, the conversations, having Rochdale Rovers now is that opportunity halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. It's not this, you have to drive all the way to the Sunshine Coast, all the way to the Gold Coast now. You can actually come to something more central. I know it's still in Logan, but it's on that border of Brisbane where, Rochdale Rovers is the place. And I encourage all rural supporters to get to NPL, especially if you're not making the A-League games. Obviously, our A-League and our women's teams, get along to them. But our NPL, in fact, before we go, I just want to share, mate, these are the new Richard Raw Banner awards for the players. Last year we had the cups, and we've designed these little ones, mate. Designed little awards here for each match. So we're hoping that you, the Raw fans who get along to games, we will pick that player for the man of the match or player of the match for the Raw and do a little interview there. But Chris, thank you so much for coming down today. I do appreciate your time. I know you're a very busy man and getting the team prepared for round one. Your predictions for round one. Will it be on or will it be off?
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be on. There's too many fixtures piled in together, and we've got a lot of fixtures scheduled midweek. So I'm hopeful the game will be played. I'm hopeful every game will be played this weekend, but the weather probably isn't going to be as nice to us as what it could be. But regardless of whether it's played on Saturday night or Tuesday night, or we have to wait for Olympic to be our first home game, the boys are prepared. We're excited for a big season this year, and hopefully, the boys can set some new expectations, because we want to continue to push things forward and not drop down. So we're excited for season 2022 and see what it unpacks.
Definitely. Thank you for your time, mate. Well, we're all fans. We're about to finish now, and I tell you what, this weekend's football bonanza. Unfortunately, tomorrow night the Raw against Melbourne Victory has been postponed. But I tell you what, get out Saturday evening, 6 o'clock, Coplick Park. Down on the Gold Coast, we're playing Gold Coast United. Our Raw NPL team need us down there to support them. Make sure you're there. Until next time, see you later.